Greetings YouTube, I'm Jazza, lovely to see you. I've had a beard trim and a haircut and I look bloody fantastic.
Check us out at ruffians.co.uk.
You did really well, yeah? Excellent, well done. You're going to be a social media superstar. But we're not here to talk about that today. I am going to do a video response to the lovely Jack Howard because video responses are dead, and if I have learned anything about being on YouTube for 8 years, it's that you should ignore what YouTube wants you to do and just go off and imagine as if it were 2005 again. Check out Jack's video here. He basically says in it that he doesn't feel like he enjoys or likes anything that's deemed popular on the site anymore. And frankly, I felt like that since about 2010. So let's talk about that, shall we? There is this great romanticism about people who've been on YouTube for as long as Jack and I, that it used to be a great democratic institution, that the best content used to rise to the top, which, quite frankly, is absolute bullshit. Some of the most popular things in the past have been things like 2 girls, 1 cup, or videos with boobs in the thumbnail. Philip DeFranco. But the reason that I started, and the reason that this platform is so great, maybe not platform, that this community is so great, that people can do whatever the fuck they want. Who cares what you've been assigned at school, what your art teacher says is artistic or not? Who cares who says you can't cover this story or that you can't create this thing? If you have the time and a little bit of money backing you up, then you can do whatever you want and build it, and at least some people, even if it's your mum and like your dog watching, some people will come and they will watch. Is there a problem with popular YouTubers and those who are at the peak of the iceberg? Shall we call this the peak? Do you like my little visual representation here? Very proud of myself. The people at the peak are seen as having reasonably lowbrow content. Easy to produce, regularly uploaded. People seem to watch it no matter how good it is, right? And then below that, there are people who have high production value, but don't get a huge number of hits, and then people who are like middle of the road, and then the people who are filming on their iPhones. What has gotten on my nerves in the past, and what has irritated me, and I've been vocal about this before, is the fact that people see those who are the most popular. So, for example, the KSIs, the Zoes, the Alfies, the Joe Suggs, etc, etc, etc. They are seen as the most popular, and therefore as representative of the rest of the content that is on YouTube. And it can be so hard to explain that this isn't the case. Some of the most engaging and exciting content is on YouTube, but the media gaze and the gaze of the majority of people is not fixated on people like Idea Channel and Community Channel and people who are doing like interviews, making documentaries and all of that kind of stuff. And that can be, as a medium, smaller size creator, that can be really irritating. Because you know what, the only common ground that me and Zoe have is the fact that we upload things to the same site and that's it. There's no overlap in the kind of content that we make at all. And that's fine. And it's great that she is as successful and as good at her job as she is. But it can be frustrating that she is seen as the epitome of what it's like to be a YouTuber, and she isn't. There's millions of people uploading stuff to the site every single day, every single hour, every single minute. And unless you're making a certain kind of content, and that is content that does particularly well, and that is content that gets a certain number of hits and has a certain amount of watch time, then you are going to be ignored by YouTube and by mainstream media as a whole. But as someone who's a bit of an old hand at YouTube, I've tried my best to not give a shit. I love making videos for whoever is going to watch them. Last week I put up a long form interview with the economic correspondent for Channel 4 News in the UK. Nobody clicked on it. And you know what? That is okay. Because I was proud of the piece of journalism that I did in that particular piece, and I was so happy that those who did watch it were like, this was really fucking interesting, and that is great. So going back to Jack's grievances, the problem isn't that the content that is engaging and smart and artistic and funny. It's not that that content isn't there, it's that our gaze isn't fixated towards it. And if those of us who have a certain amount of power, and I'm including myself in this despite not being the biggest creator on the face of the planet, those of us who have a certain amount of power and influence should be casting our gaze to those people who we think are making great content. Who cares about the size of the audience? If we think they're making great content, we should fucking shout about it. Because God knows YouTube isn't going to shout about it for us. If it were up to YouTube, there would be no smaller YouTubers panel or at like VidCon and Summer in the City. But you know what? Those are the best parts of those huge events. And I'm really unapologetic for that. And I don't think I'm doing people any favours by having a smaller YouTubers panel at something like Summer in the City. I think that we are just being representative of the creators who are out there and the majority, and the people who are getting the majority of the views on the site, right? So as a viewer, in the same vein as Jack, I also feel his grievances, that the stuff that people automatically think of when they think YouTuber doesn't tickle my pickle. But I also am very aware that I love a load of really great people on this site, and I'm in love with the kind of stuff that they're making, and they're people who have millions of subscribers, and they're people who have like 12. And I am going to take a leaf out of a couple of my friends' book and start shouting about those creators. My friend Lena Norms, who's been on this channel many a time, made a video a couple of weeks ago about her 10 favourite creators who have under 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to do the same next week. The reason it's going up next week is because you're gonna have to subscribe if you want to know when it actually comes out, and like follow me on Twitter and all of that. But also, I'm going to India next week, and so that is going to be my pre-filmed filler content. I hope that's okay with you. Questions for you. How do you feel about the representation of YouTube? This is something that we keep on coming back to like all the time. And do you have any advice for Jack aside from my shouts about the videos and the creators that you love? Because frankly, I worry that people who are looking at YouTube now, and the average YouTube consumer is not going to be overly inspired to make something engaging and fantastically artistic and fantastically creative. Tea has been spilled. And I want to make sure that people are as inspired as I was in 2007 when I started this channel. Because I've genuinely thought that I could do anything with it. And I worry that people now just think that they can do challenge videos and makeup tutorials. And I think that that is limiting for us. I'm gonna go now. I've been rhyming with oranges. Doodly.